Hey guys, welcome back. So another single has dropped recently, which is Andy Black. And for those of you who don't know who Andy Black is, it's the lead singer of Black Veil Brides. So basically, Andy Biersack is his real name. Um, now, Andy Black is obviously his solo project, but it's musically different. Andy Black's first album was quite old school pop type of sound. As for Black Veil Brides, is more along the lines of rock slash maybe a tad of metal. Now, I didn't like Andy Black's first album purely because structure-wise and musicianship, there was nothing. Vocally, his vocals were obviously quite okay. I don't really think it fits very well into this type of genre. I think his voice is definitely more suited towards what he actually does in Black Veil Brides. As for Black Veil Brides, I know a lot of people hate on them. Personally, I actually do like them. I hated Wretched and Divine because his singing in that was absolutely goddamn awful. His screams were damn awful as well, but Andy has gone out to say that the reason he screams was because his voice actually was bad at the time, because he was still just a kid and his voice was going through breaks, so he needed to make sure he could actually sing it, so he just did a single tone and that was it, which would have been boring without the screams. As for Set the World on Fire, which is where a lot of the hate came from because they got a bit more hype then, so people actually noticed them when that album came out. They kind of looked like Kiss. They had a lot of black paint all over their bodies and their face and everything, with the big frilly hair and the leather and studs. And people hated on them for it. The thing is, Kiss is a massive band, but they don't get hate for it. Back in the day, Iron Maiden wore spandex, tights, and had big blonde hair with the stupid sweat bands around their heads. And they looked like idiots. But back then, that was the style. If a band was to do that today, they would get absolutely hated and called stupid and retarded and things like this. But Iron Maiden is one of the biggest bands on the planet. I don't hear them being called stupid, retarded, and people disliking them for it. But if they were to do it again now, people probably would actually freak out. It's that pathetic. So, it's just a look, it's an appearance, it's a dress up. They don't do that on their everyday lives. So, obviously I was completely fine with it. And musically, in Set the World on Fire, the musicianship was really, really, really great. The guitarists were brilliant. Andy had a unique voice and it was very good. I really liked the lyrics because they were, a lot of people call Black Veil Brides emo, but I don't think they're emo in the slightest, because every song, all the lyrics throughout Set the World on Fire, was about just being happy. If you're being bullied, go to a place that makes you happy, and just stay strong. Or Set the World on Fire, which is a song about basically just get out there and do what you please, do what you want, set this world on fire. Not literally or anything like that, but and then there was another song about an army, which is basically if we all come together and we stick together by each other's sides, we will be strong and we would be able to go through anything together instead of being single. And then Fallen Angels is basically, in religious terms, an angel has left heaven, so they're no longer an angel, they're obviously not a human, but they also don't even live in hell, so basically they're an outcast. There is no place for the fallen angel. And Andy saw that as a great reference for the fan base. They're kind of ridiculed a lot by people, and they're quite singled out, and they don't really have a place. So that was that song there. So lyrically, I really liked it. I got bullied tons as a kid, and it was so bad that my parents had to move because I was under so much trouble. And a kid nearly went to prison because of what they did to me, and to this day, like next month I'll be 26, and I've definitely grown, but there is always going to be part of me which is not going to heal. I'm always going to be scarred for what's happened to me. So basically the lyrics speak to me for that reason. I found it empowering, I found it lifting, and that album came out when I was still technically a kid, so it helped me get through things. And the next album, Wretched and Divine, changed the sound. It was completely different to Set the World on Fire, Wretched and Divine. And then BBB4 was completely different to anything else. The latest album isn't different. It's basically just the same as what they've kind of done, and musically it doesn't really do anything special. So I wasn't really keen on that album, but technically they've been pretty decent to me. Like, I used to really like them as I've evolved. I've seen that they were actually not that big, but they were still good and everything, and they did change their sound. And then their last album, as I said, it wasn't too huge. So I liked Black Veil Brides. Now, not really. I still like hearing them if they are played, but I don't go out my way anymore for them. But this new single, Andy Black has released a cover of My Way. So the song where it's basically, I did it my way. So Andy's doing a cover of that. It starts off as the typical Andy Black sound, just kind of pop, not really any kind of musicianship really going on. Andy singing the kind of mellow, poppy way, and it sounds decent, but again, as I said, I don't really think it's best suited for his style of singing. But the song eventually actually does kind of erupt into kind of a punk sound. It's very punk. It's completely punk, actually. And it's definitely new for Andy. He's never done punk before. And it's not really that great, to be honest. It's fine at times, and then at times it sounds very, very bad. It just sounds like a guy who has a special voice for a certain type of thing, but the person has gone to a karaoke bar to sing, obviously, a cover of something, and it doesn't sound good in the slightest. You can tell the voice is unique and it can be good, but it just sounds dreadful in other styles. And that's kind of My Way. He sounds so whiny, and his voice is quite deep and everything. He has a very deep, strong voice. So to kind of come off whiny, which I don't like punk, so I think all their sounds are quite whiny. It's so nasally and whining and everything. It's quite dreadful, and his voice ain't really for that. His voice ain't one that is supposed to be whine. So that's basically the song. There's nothing really to it. If you've heard it before, it's basically just a punk thing. It's very basic. There's nothing special to it musically at all. But it's new for Andy Black, but as I said, his voice doesn't really suit it. I like that he is looking at a heavier side for him, but if he's sticking to a punk way sound, because he's obviously never done that before, so he may be actually intrigued to do the punk thing. From this, it doesn't seem to work, and from his voice, I don't think it would work. And in this, he's kind of proven that it doesn't work. Reviewing this, putting a score on it, I would probably give it a 3 out of 10. So it's definitely below average, and if I were to hear it, I wouldn't really be interested at all. So I won't go out my way for it, so it's not a 5, where it's basically like, maybe I can listen to it once every blue moon. And it's not a 4, which is basically if it plays I would kind of be interested, but I wouldn't ever listen to it myself. I wouldn't listen to it myself. I wouldn't, if it was played, I wouldn't be over the moon about it, but I could cope with it. So, they're free. Nothing really else to say. He does have a good voice, but it's pretty much best suited in the rock metal type of thing. It really doesn't fit in punk. It is a new style for him, so I can commend him on that, trying something new. Andy Black was something new, but I don't like pop. Musically it was all boring, structure-wise it was all boring, and vocally it all was exactly the same vocal style. This is a new vocal style and musically completely different, and there was instruments brought in, but again they were bland as all balls. It's just a cover, so there's nothing special about him doing it personally himself, and his voice doesn't really suit it. So, that's the way it is, I'm afraid. So, if you like, leave a like. If you dislike, you can go ahead. Just make sure you leave a comment saying how I can improve. Don't leave comments of you're completely wrong, it's great, Andy's voice is great no matter what, because that is just your opinion, and you're basically then just going into the world and stating that it's a fact that everyone should like Andy Black and it's the greatest thing on the planet, which is clearly not the case, and you're going to make yourself look pretty stupid, so don't do it. If you want to see more from me, please subscribe. I do review as often as I can. I do go into a hell of a lot of depth usually, and my reviews are quite long. But if you like long reviews which go into a lot of depth and really get into the music, that's what I try. I kind of mumble a lot, but if you're into that, please subscribe. I would definitely appreciate it. I'm still very, very, very small of the channel, and I would like to be bigger. So, if you want to see me grow and get better at this, I need you to subscribe. So please subscribe, and until next time, see you guys later.